myself again. But it's the only way you're ever gonna learn. You look back and it's all in the past. I'm dwelling on that thought.
Good evening, welcome to this 3D Fight Club special. As you
Hey,
will
mate, you
know,
there, Steve?
Yeah, can you hear me, mate?
Yeah, I can hear you, mate. I'm just on the motorway, but we're like stuck in traffic, so the reception's a bit up and down, really. But yeah, we're can you hear us, mate? Yeah.
Yeah, go for it, mate. Go for it.
Yeah, so we're three days off now.
Yeah, 3 days off, 3D Fight Club. If you want to check out the fights, www.3dfightclub.co.uk. The website is underneath me there. Been a lot of stress, Dean. Has it been a lot of stress putting the show together?
Do you know what? Yeah, I tell you what, the stressful part that's been for us at the moment is it's the obstacles. We kind of every hurdle possible. I mean, funny enough, we've just found out the other BKB organisation that's tried to shut us down through, you know, obviously they know that we're aware of him now, so we are going to be landing at their office the next week after our show's out the way, and we're going to be confronting them. But that was one major obstacle. The other obstacle we've had really was obviously losing Johnny Jab, which was one of our, you know, close friend of ours, and that put a major blow on things because Johnny was quite a big backbone for us, do you know, in terms of like contracts and stuff like that. He done a lot of stuff behind the scenes that no one really seen, do you know what I mean? And it was just going through obviously dealing with that. And then to be fair, Steve, you know what's worse? This is obviously like my first promotion, but I always thought all fighters were like myself. But when you know yourself, you've done promotions yourself. When you're dealing with fighters, you have to be a social worker, a counsellor. You know, there's a lot of stuff you got to take into consideration when you're dealing with fighters. Yeah, I mean, that's been the most challenging part, to be honest, more than anything. Do you know what I mean? But to be fair, we've kind of, the way the team's pulled together, you know, we've all pulled our weight, you know, for what we've had to do. And to be fair, the way we've pulled it together now is that moving on to 3D Fight Club 2 in June, we've already, the end of June, we've already kind of set the template now. So the first one's, you probably know yourself, is always the hardest one. Moving on to 3D Fight Club 2, we're actually 3D Fight Club 2, we're actually all right, to be honest, because we've kind of set the template for it now. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, we've got the belts. I don't know if you've seen the belts. Have you seen the belts that we've had made up?
Yeah, I mean, they look really, really good. I mean, I've got to say the website as well. I mean, from those early days when you were just starting out, you had to have something up there, but you've now got the website open. Anybody clicks on it, it works really well. You've got the fighters on there. You've got the ticket and events. You've got the, you know, how the rules and regulations, contact button there if anybody's got any questions. And you've also got the, you know, right at the top, buy tickets, buy pay-per-view, and then the legal and the info, which is great. It's everything everybody needs on a website. Yeah,
everything. But what we've done is, to be fair, obviously, like I said, I'm not tech savvy, and neither was Dougie. So we had a member of our team that kind of was doing the website. But to be fair, we kept him on board because he was a good friend of Johnny Jab's. But obviously, that's the reason we kept him on board. And you know, he pulled his weight. He was limited. So I'm not going to call him because he's done well for us. He's still got 3D Fight Club on the social media platforms for us. But he's very limited and he missed a lot of stuff out. And then obviously we brought another member on board, which is Ron Swanson, Rocco. Obviously we brought Rocco on to do the website, and you know, he's pulled it back. He's done good things for us there with the website. And I mean, and that was kind of important because the first website that we actually had, you couldn't really. But basically, people could have bought in the pay-per-view. They could have obviously bought the tickets and so forth via the website. But then there was no legal documentation at the end of the website. There was no policy at the end. So basically, they could have claimed back all the money after the show. Whereas with this new website, you've got the access link that takes you direct to Skiddle.com. So obviously, it's secure for people buying the tickets and so forth. We've got everything on there now. And like I say, we're playing sailing now, Steve. You're coming down to the show, aren't you, mate?
Yes, mate. Yeah, 100%, mate. It's
just to let you know, we've got executive boxes there, so you'll be in the box with us up at the top. So we had 8 boxes. I think we've got 2 left for sale, but we've kept 1, so it's 15 per box, and that's on the exec box. So you'll be looking over the ring box, over the ring. You'll have your own waiter service and everything there. You know, in the actual box, we've got the big screens in each box as well. So yeah, good to get you down there.
Yeah, much appreciated. Should be the first of many, which is what you're hoping for. Just looking at the website, the fights the fights that where everybody was talking about were the social media ones. But before we come to that, Johnny Royal against Danny Duval. I mean, Leighton Lawson against Dominic McCauley. Hayden Sheriff against James Cleary. Joel Halliday against Lee Ingham, Aaron Jones against Mickey Hard, Ryan Baxter against Stu Anderson, and Chris Porter versus Jack Burnett. I mean, there's some names there which I presume are big names down your neck of the woods. Which is the fight we should be looking forward to the most?
But do you know what? There's 1 second. Can you hear us, mate?
Yeah, I can still hear you, mate. Yeah, I can still hear you, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, mate. Yeah. We've had Aaron Jones he's had to go for a scan, so there's a possibility Aaron Jones can't fight. So we've had to pull Aaron Jones from the card with Mick Hard.
Well, just lost you there, Dean.
Now, a fight that excites me, to be fair, we've got a few.
Dean,
I'll go through the week.
We'll just stop there, yeah? We just lost you. You just went out of signal there, and you were just saying that you'd lost Jones from the card. So you lost Aaron Jones from the card. What did you say after that?
Well, what we've done, we lost it. Yeah, we lost. Give us a minute, mate. Give us 2 minutes. It's always this bit of the section. I've just been stuck on this 1 second, mate.
Okay, if you just bear with Dean while he gets back into signal, because we can't hear him. Obviously going on that stretch of the motorway, wherever he's on. Been sitting in a traffic jam for a while, and now he's on the way, which is that video. Craig says, tell Dean to check my latest video. I will do, mate. I will make sure he sees that. We've got to wait because he's obviously going on and... Right, okay. Well, we'll get him back, so just bear with us. There he is now. Right, Dean, you're back.
Mate. Yeah, Don't worry. A quick one. Just let me see with Aaron Jones. So basically, Aaron Jones, we've had to pull Aaron Jones. And that's nothing. He had to go for a scan, but they're saying obviously the scan can be crucial because he's had a lot of fights, Aaron Jones. He fights a lot of the left-away fights, the bare knuckle MMA type stuff. So the fight that excites me really with that is Mick Hard and Leighton Lawson. That's going to be a scrimmage, you know what I mean? Because, there's not much weight difference between them. Leighton Lawson's had a lot of unlicensed, Steve. And he does it hard and he doesn't shy away from it. And, he's not shy. And you look at likes of Mick Hard. Mick Hard's been going for years, hasn't he? So we've basically, I think what we've done with Mick Hard is we've given it's his last hurrah. Do you know what I mean? We said, look, you're getting older now, push on, mate. So we said, look, if you train hard, you dedicate yourself, we'll put a belt on the line for you. We'll give you something to fight for. Can it produce? We don't know. But that's a fight that interests me.
Yeah, sounds fantastic, that one. Any others that stand out?
Yeah, we've got a young lad from Scotland called Stuart Anderson. I'll get you some footage sent over. You didn't see this lad. This lad, his original background, believe it or not, is gymnastics. So he reminds me of like the Lomachenko of BKB. I said, that's the kind of look. And I think he's averaging. This guy, you see, he's phenomenal. Do you know what I mean? It is phenomenal. And the way he moves, his timing is awesome. And obviously he's fighting. We've got a lad called Ryan Baxter. Now, I don't know much about Ryan Baxter, but what I know, he boxed in the British Army. So I'm presuming that Ryan Baxter, for me, isn't going to shy away from taking a punch. He's going to get involved. And we've got other fights on the card, but they're the fights that interest me because I speak with these lads quite regularly and watch the stuff that they're training and stuff like that. And when you watch someone's training to see what they're actually doing in training, it kind of amazes you. It puts a smile on your face, that these lads are taking it seriously. Do you know what I mean? And even we've got like the YouTuber fights. We've got fighting trolls on there against Ash Drink. Did you watch when he done the live the other day?
Yeah, I've got to be honest, right? Look, the social media fights are always ones which are, people are starting to talk about. We had the infamous press conference which all kicked off, and I think the big question marks are always going to lie over these lads because it's all right talking the talk, but it's whether you can walk the walk. And what you laid out right at the start was you wanted to make sure that people were sending you training videos. You wanted to make sure people were taking it seriously. I've got to be honest, out of everybody who I've watched, Fighting Trolls has really impressed me because you can see how he's changed. His weight's dropped. He's taken it seriously. He's played the game on social media. He had a dropout, didn't he, as well? And he had to get a new opponent. He started calling him out. He's done everything by the book, Fighting Trolls. I've got to be honest, out of all of them, I've seen Ben Hatchett fight, and I know. But Fighting Trolls, I'm really looking forward to seeing him.
Well, do you know what, Steve? Like you're saying about Fighting Trolls, all the lads they send me the footage, to be honest. We're quite a lot of the lads, and Fighting Trolls has impressed me, to be fair. But I've got to admit, since Ash got the fight with Fighting Trolls, he's took his training serious. You know, he really has. He's not held back, and I mean, he's down in. I think he's with that. Is it Hector Hoover? Troll, he calls himself down south. He was a pro boxer, and he does. I see Hector on his lives and stuff, and he does a lot of stuff for the lads in the actual gym in London. So Ash has gone down there, and to be fair, since he's took the fight, he's gone from Nottingham to London to take this fight serious. You can't. I mean, fair play. It's like at the start, people were like giving a lot of negative press towards Fighting Trolls. You know, when I said, look, I said, you've got to take it off to any man that gets in the ring, but to take your issues to bare knuckle boxing in the ring, you know, it takes a man to do that. And that's why I said for Fighting Trolls and Ash, you know, I take my hat off to both men, because none of them are fighters, Steve. Do you know what I mean? They've not claimed to be fighters. They've just took it serious. And I think, you know what? I mean, fair play to all the lads, because, I mean, you can say fair play to the other lads, but not as so much, because a lot of the lads, you know, they fight BKB. Fair play to them anyway for getting in there. But these novice lads as well. I mean, when I say novice, some of them, we've got some lads that have come from amateur boxing, you know, and they look the part. I just hope that they can produce on a night, because they're matched evenly and stuff. But you've got to take it off to him, because, like you're saying, even these novice lads getting in there to bare knuckle boxing, you know, it's a different world. Do you know what I mean? If you put some of these lads and speak to, like, you know, some of these lads like your kind of Turners, and, you know, like the lads that are really doing it on the BKB scene at the minute, and ask them what their first fight was like in BKB, I bet it wasn't easy. Do you know what I mean? It was daunting and stuff, and that's why I'm impressed, to be fair, Steve. I'm impressed with all the fighters. I can't, you know, and like you're saying, I've had 3 fighters pull out, and it's been genuinely for genuine reasons. You know what I mean? So, like you're saying, I think we've done the card the way we've done it, and I think it's going to be a screamer. Do you know what I mean?
Have you got what have you got? 10 fights, 7 fights on?
12 fights we've got on. We've got 12
Superb.
fights on. I mean,
value.
We've just managed to get Josh Courtney, which is Tom Zanetti's brother, the music artist. He had 2 fights for the BFBA. He's come over to us, and just basically said, look, he wants to join 3D Fight Club to further his career. So obviously Josh Courtney's he's had 2 fights, 2 good stoppages as well. I mean, he's not the most technical of fighters, but he can fight. He's game, he trains, and he can hit hard. So, I mean, he's one to watch in the future. He really is. If you watch some of his stuff, we've also got Ben Hatchett's back on the card with Bobby Kay.
Yeah, I mean, he talks a good game, Ben, and he can deliver in the ring. He's explosive. He's a character, and obviously a lot of controversy at the original press conference. But you know, water under the bridge now. He's back on the card, and he pulls in the fans as well.
Do you know what?
Yeah.
Do you know what it is, Steve? Do you know what it is? You know what people have got to realise, though. You know, like, you get a lot of fighters that they can talk a good game and they're doing X, Y, and Z, but a lot of these lads are still pretty new to the bare knuckle industry as well. Do you know what I mean? So for us, we're happy to get these lads on board. You know, the lads, they can talk a good one, and to be fair, you know, once they've been in there, you can't really say that they're not backing it up, because they've been in there, they've got the taste for it. What our job is to do, can you hear us, Steve? Yeah, you can hear us, mate. Yeah.
Yeah.
You there?
Yeah, I can see
yeah.
you,
Basically,
mate.
what I'm saying is, what we want to do, we want to, like Ben Hatchett, they're ideal candidates for what we want, because we want to grow our own stable of fighters from the novice days and work and, you know, get these guys up to where they need to be. Do you know what I mean? And that's our aim. Is like Ben Hatchett sent me a lad over that he's got contact for a lad in America, an American BKB fighter. They call him Ugly Monster. I don't know if you've heard of him on the BKB scene. Very, very tasty guy. He's got the fastest United States BKB knockout. Ben Hatchett's got the fastest UK knockout. So that's a possible match we're going to try and get in the future. But like you're saying with these guys here, I mean, at the start of things, I give Bobby Kay his opportunity, and what he done, he surprised me. I put a message over to him, and he actually surprised me, because he looked a different man from when he first come to the first conference that we had. And I said, you know what, fair play to you. But what he's got to realise is, when you're in there, you know, regardless of what you say about Ben Hatchett, you know, he's, for a little guy, you know, he's not shy. I'm not saying he's the hardest of people, but he's just not shy, and that's what I kind of like, the little man syndrome in him. Do you know what I mean? And I think for Ben Hatchett, I think another 2-3 fights down the line, I think we're going to get something big for Ben Hatchett. If he pulls through that, then let's see what people have got to say about him then. Do you know what I mean? I just want to touch on Danny Devell as well, because Danny Devell's opponent pulled out Johnny Royal through no fault of Johnny's own. He had a bleed on the brain. He got a bleed on the brain. He had a car crash, so we had to change his opponent. So he's
just lost you there again, mate. We just lost you again. Obviously, Dean traveling around, so it's not the greatest of connections. But when he comes back, we will get him on. Whilst he is paused in the internet, either I'll take him out and I'll bring him back in. So don't forget, from your perspective, if you want to go to the fight, then you can go to the website, which is www.3dfightclub.co.uk, and you can buy tickets on there. If you can't get down to the venue on the night, there is pay-per-view, which is £9.99, and if you go to the website again, www.3dfightclub.co.uk, then you can get onto the pay-per-view section, which is at the top of the website, and you will be able to pay per view, which is £9.99. And spoken to the guy today, actually, who is running that particular service, and he assures me that it will be good value for money and good quality. So get yourself on to that on Saturday night if you can't get along there. Political Bias has just put a point in. He says, I saw the venue yesterday on Dougie's channel and I was well impressed. Yeah, I mean, if you follow the lads on social media, if you go on to their Instagram, Dougie Joyce or Dean Lynch Ward, or go on to the YouTube channel, Dougie's official channel, there's some good pictures, footage, etc. of the of the venue, Bowlers, and it's the way that it's been set up is fantastic. It really, really is. I mean, I've been involved in unlicensed boxing, white collar boxing for a 9-year period. Also been involved in the pro game for 9 years as well, 18 years in the fight game. And from my perspective, I've never seen a venue like that, especially for a very, very like the first outing, if you like. So yeah, looks really good, very good. Hopefully, we'll be able to get Dean back on in the next couple of minutes and just talk a little bit about the venue. Malta says that the venue does look decent. Yeah, I would agree 100%. The full card, Relentless Media says for £9.99. I mean, it is a bargain when you hear that there's 12 fights on, which is what Dean said earlier on. Diane says that it looks proper smart, especially the VIP area. Yeah, it looks like a really, really good venue. Hang tight. Good evening. Hope you're doing well. Venue is coming on, and you're welcome, says Relentless. 12 fights for £9 is a bargain, plus the pillow fights. I like the way you call them pillow fights. Be happy. Yeah, look, I mean, that is always the thing with pay-per-view. I've had the chance of doing pay-per-view in the past, where, and I've had some great experiences and I've had some bad experiences. But the bottom line is, should the internet fail in any particular way, then you just need to contact the lads, and I'm sure there will be some kind of refund or some kind of free stream for the next fight, whatever. But I can imagine it will go well. Minta, I've got no idea. It's a question for Dean and the lads. Sheep's brain. I don't think he said that. He said many things, but I do not believe that he said that. Yeah, it is a pay-per-view bargain, Colin. I would say £9.99 for 12 fights, especially some of the ones on there. They're going to be really good. But yeah, I think it is good. I think it is good value. Yeah, Diane, it's always the worry with boxing, but I'm sure there will be good security down there. And yeah, as you say, you just hope that nobody will spoil it. Pure Blood says, I'm only watching it for fighting Trolls versus Ash. Yeah, I mean, that in itself is going to be a great fight. I think anybody who has watched Paul and watched how, from where he's gone to where he is now and how seriously he's taken it, fair play to him. I'm hoping to see him on Thursday because I'm obviously going down to Everton for the fight, for the match, Newcastle versus Everton, and hoping to catch up with Paul down there beforehand. But yeah, I think he will do really well. Still no sign of Dean. Must be still stuck with traffic. Is he coming back to life? Well, look, I'll do a little bit of Q&A whilst people are on. I've got 200 plus on. Ask us any questions you want until we get Dean on. Hi, Steve. That stunt on Paddy's live was hilarious. No offence to Paddy. It was an absolute belter. Look, you've got to laugh, mate. You've got to laugh. I'm hoping there might be some light at the end of the tunnel. He seems to be more up for doing a live. Maybe I've got my wires crossed. Maybe he hasn't got any intention of doing a live. Sean Atwood messaged me last night and said, have you watched his latest broadcast? He wants to come on my channel and do a live with you. Well, if that's the case, fantastic. And, you know, if he wants me to go on a live, click the link, go on to Sean's channel, 100% I'm up for that. He's got to realise, though, that it's a live. It's not a court case. It will be me and him sitting down on the channel and having a chat. And I can imagine at some point it's going to get a little bit heated about certain things. But I've got nothing to hide. I'm more than happy to come on there and do that. And if that means it's going to put an end to all this tit for tat, happy days. I doubt it. And I doubt this will happen. But I'm up for it. 100%. Go on Atwood's channel. If that's his main concern, that I've went on Atwood's channel and I've said this and I've said that, and let's have it out on Atwood's channel. But that puts it all to bed, puts it to rest. Let's do it. I've offered to see him face to face. I've offered to, you know, go on his channel. Whatever he wants, however he wants it, let's do it. Let's get it put to bed. Because it's really spoiling everybody's content. And I know some people find it funny, but as for the stunt AC, yeah. It was a stunt. It was a laugh. And I've got to be honest, I got a laugh out of it as well. And I think deep down, he probably laughed at it as well. I respect Dean's business mentality to an extent, but I don't like his attitude with him in general, trying to live off Dougie, says V3. What's your opinion, mate? And from what I've seen, he certainly doesn't do that. They're both their own men. They both trust each other. And my friend was John. I don't really know the guys. I've only met them at John's funeral. Got to know them online by doing broadcasts. And from what I can see, they're both genuine guys who are just going out and trying to put on a good show. Johnny Owen was my pal. Top bloke. Jab, obviously, will forever live on in John's name. And I just hope this is a great night for Nicola because she needs it. Believe you me. No alcohol will be a good thing, says Chris. Yeah, alcohol and fighting tends not to go hand in hand. Robert says, I thought it was a scam, but after seeing the venue, I'm really happy I got my code for the pay-per-view. Yeah, listen, Rob, I can understand people thinking that way. And especially with all the controversy that has unfortunately surrounded all of this, you know, all of this pre-fight build-up with, you know, various characters. You know, I think you're right. It's been a, you know, in some people's ways that would probably think it was, but it's not. And I think you'll have a really good night entertainment. Relentless Media, so 45 door staff and provided by a large security firm and drinks available at buy, says Relentless Media. Oh, well, there you go. He's in the know. I'm certainly not on that score, so he knows the crack. Ben needs to be challenged before the hype. I'd like to see what he can do when pushed to the limit, says Nilo. Nobody would spoil it in there. Too many hard men will be attending, says Political Bias. Boxing, unless it's a real rivalry, you know, tends to be a pretty good spectator sport. Let's be fair. You know, let's be fair on that. Be Happy says, fair play to all the guys taking part. Trolls can handle themselves, says Hangs Tight. Yeah, I would agree. I saw somewhere it's non-alcohol but can bring own alcohol. Well, it's clearly alcohol allowed. So Relentless Media has already put that through. What's that? Oh, Chris Collins says, ask Dean if he wants some wheelie bin posters knocked up to advertise 3D. I've got a good contact. I'll put that to him, Chris. No problem. I'll have a chat with him and see whether that's something that he would be interested. AC coming back to life says, I'll fight the winner of Dean and Dougie. And Dean knows I'm good for it. We can do it for a good cause, and I'm happy to get gubbed. Why is everyone scared of a bloke in a shed? I don't think people are scared of a bloke in a shed, mate. I think it's just YouTube gone mad, mate. YouTube gone mad. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the live too. He said KRN will represent him, Steve. Thank you, Roger. That's not what Sean seemed to think. So I would probably go with what you said there, mate, if that's the case. And you know, I don't want to go on KRN. It's a small channel. It's pointless going on to a small channel. It's better off going on to Sean Atwood's, I would say, 100%. Will PC agree to it? Probably not. Yeah, probably not. Looking forward to it, Nilo. Me too. Eddie Hearn. Yes, had some good times, Eddie. We had some good times. Still, maybe one or two to come with Stephen Sayers' laddie, who makes his pro debut next week. Who do I think will win, Dean or Dickie? I I'm still not 100% convinced that fight will go ahead. Put it that way. And I think there will be a serious crackdown by the authorities on all of that madness, 100%. And I don't think he'll be. I don't think he'll be a free man. I really don't. It's my thought matter on this. I just think it'll all come tumbling down, that whole situation which is taking place. Obviously, if Dean comes back on, I will ask him about it briefly, about that fight, and see what his thoughts are. No response from him as yet, so not sure what is going on with him in the traffic. But if we can get him back on, we will. I'll do another 10 minutes to give him that opportunity. I thought it was what PC wanted, says Sonny Shane. Yeah, I mean, so did I. Holding me to a court. But the problem is he keeps moving the goalposts. That's what he does. He moves the goalposts. Every time I said I would do something, it gets moved. It's a pity. It's a pity. It's a pity. But that's the way it goes. Robert Pine says, if I put on an eye patch, he'll fight you on the 3D fight card, but when his hernia's fixed. I'm sure he didn't say that, Robert. Business mentality. Look, and again, Joe, that's not a nice thing to say. There's a lot of good fighters on this card. And no one's saying he's the new Dana White. What people are saying is the guy's giving it a go. It's hard to put a show on. Have you ever put a show on? It's very difficult. And, I put on 38 unlicensed shows. And, it's a hell of a lot of effort and work. And sometimes it's a hell of a lot of effort and work for very little money. And especially in the pro game. Karma Corner. I'm never giving anyone a super chat ever again. Karma, if that is you, keep up the great work. I really loved that video you did of me and Paddy. Very balanced, as always, very fair. The only thing I would say was I was a bit disappointed he didn't pick up my second appearance on the show when I crept up again and said, me again. I was compared to Harry Enfield. See if you can dig that out, Karma. Do you remember the character? I used to go, only me. Yeah, I've got a bit of stick off the missus. She said that was what I was like. Let's see what else we've got without putting anybody on who's been a bit derogatory. Here we go. Myloma says, good evening, Steve. Loving the videos you and Paddy are putting out. Well, look, it's interesting. People are interested in that. It's one of those things that grabs people's attention. And I think because me and him are so completely different, it probably works on YouTube. I don't like really to get dragged into it. I had 3 months off and away from it. And obviously 3 of those weeks I had a very sick, one of my parents was, nearly passed away. I still was putting out my Newcastle content, but I'm so glad that I kept out of all of that, tit for tat, backwards and forwards stuff. But, look, you've got to answer your critics. I mean, at the moment, he's trying to label me a drag queen. He's trying to label me somebody who is associated with a sex offender. All of this stuff is lies, but it's all stuff he thinks is funny. And, even I sometimes tune in and laugh at some of the stuff that he says because it's that crazy and that mental that, when he does his little cheeky laugh at the end of it, you cannot help but laugh. But I guess he thinks it's affecting me mentally, or it's going to wind us up, or it's going to drive us into some kind of insanity mode. But he's not dealing with, he's not dealing with that other person. He's dealing with me, And I stood on the doors for 18 years and took some of the worst abuse of humans, intoxicated, off the nut, whatever. And believe you me, if you can do 18 years on the door, you can take a little bit of stick on YouTube. Believe you me, you can. And it's funny. Betty says, Karma Corner, I should know better on this wild YouTube. But honestly, Karma Corner, it's great. It really is great to see somebody who can, be fair, be funny, and have morals. And, there's been a lot of good stuff done by Karma. I think it's fair. And I've got to be honest, the honest truth as well. Bobby, I know it's not everyone's cup of tea and not everyone's going to get on, but Bobby's trying his best. Bobby's getting out there and he's doing stuff, and it's not easy to be a YouTuber time and time again and continue to make content. But he's actually a really nice guy. Obviously, we all have mishaps on YouTube. Karma tends to pick them up and find people who do them and make some good content. Bobby had an absolute nightmare the other night. I spoke to him about it today. But what did he do? He rang up everybody who was involved apologised, made sure they were all right, and that's it. He's moved on, and that's the best way to be. Some really good people on YouTube, and there's some people who shouldn't be a million, anywhere near the platform. And people might think I mean Paddy there. I don't mean that at all. I actually enjoy some of his content, and I see why people follow him, and he is getting some good figures and some good stats. And I guess, each to their own. Some of the stuff that he says on there, which is about me, is absolute, poppycock. Some of it is just, completely made up. Some of it is based on half truths, which he picks up from the book. But anybody can pick up my book, Every Boy's Dream, on Amazon, get it on the Kindle, buy it or whatever. And you can go through that book and you can pick apart every story that he said. The drag queen story, like I mentioned on Anne's chat last night on her show, is me playing the pantomime dame when I was a youngster. Going to an all girls school. The story keeps repeating about that. Wasn't me going to an all girls school. It was going to a school which used to be all girls, which then admitted boys. So he's just been clever with the truth. He's been economical with the truth, and it makes for good viewing. And for those people who don't like me, of course, they revel in it. For those people who don't like the fact that I support Newcastle United, I don't support the fact that I've written the book about the Sayers and seem to be against Conroy and it's what he promotes. I can't win, and you cannot be liked by everybody. You just got to accept that. And I'm not a narcissist. He called us a narcissist today, apparently, but I'm not a narcissist, and I accept. I'm not everyone's cup of tea. I am like Marmite, and that's the way it is always going to be. Relentless Media, thanks, mate. Good to see you, mate. Honestly, looking forward to catching up again. It's been good to, good to get to know you over this last 12 months of absolute madness, mate. No, he's not going off to eat anything, Joe. Dean, and I have dropped him a message. Let's see whether he's got back to us. Has he got back? Nah, there's no message. I'll do another 5 minutes. You seem to be interested in asking questions, so any questions, get them in, and I'll go through them. Some good celeb names attendance as Relentless Media, so there you go. For the boxing, if you haven't got your tickets already, get onto the website and buy them today. People haven't got a clue. These lads, Dougie and Dean, are top lads. I know that for a fact. They've all put graft into this, including Ash, which is true. The lads have done a quality job, and I will be there on Saturday, says the gift. So there you go. Ash, big shout out, Ash, top lad. Great to get to know him through Johnny Jab, and let's not forget, John. John's memory. This is a tribute to John. This show, Jab, of course, which I always proudly wear and have proudly sponsored by John over the years. Worn it with pride, and giving him loads of help and support and love. This show's about him, and let's hope that it's a huge success for him and a big tribute to John from Jab. Chris Prescott, loved the picture of you with Freddie Foreman the other day. Another legend. How's he doing, Steve? I'd love an hour listening to his stories. Chris, he's doing well. He's 90 years of age. He's just turned 90. And if you've listened to the stories about Freddie Foreman, they're all true and a lot more besides. He's a top bloke, and I've had the pleasure of knowing Freddie Foreman for 25 years now, and it was the least I could do when Newcastle were playing Chelsea to pop in and see him and drop him a nice drop of red wine in and just have a quick chat with him. But he's fine. Yeah, he's fine. And I've had the privilege of having not 1 hour, not 2 hours, and sometimes an all-night session sitting in his, having a few bottles of wine, chatting about the old days, me and a few others of selected company. So in the last 25 years, I'm proud to say I've become a really good friend of Fred's. He's a good friend of mine, and I knew he would always be there for us if I ever needed him. And he's been a top bloke. But he's happy, mate. He's happy. And if you haven't watched the documentary that we did for Fred or with Fred a few years ago, it's simply called Fred. You should be able to get that on Amazon. Just Google it. I was the producer on that, so well worth a look. Let's have a look. Any more questions? Roger says it was on Sean Atwood's channel, but wants KRN to represent him on the channel. Well, why doesn't he just come on himself? I mean, that is ludicrous. He wants him to represent him. I mean, KRN, I don't know the guy. He's called Christian, friends of Sean Atwood. Apparently, he was the guy in the middle of Sean and Marvin Herbert when they did their chat. And I sent him all of the information that he would need, the screenshots, the paperwork, the links to the paperwork, and I broke it down, my version of events, as to why I have not led a smear campaign against him. And I never got one message back from Christian. I spoke to him on the phone. I never got one message back from him. So I sent him a message simply saying, in fact, I'll read it whilst everybody is on, because I haven't shared that. So let's put that out there. KRN. Yeah, I just said simply the fact that he hadn't been in touch with me because, you know, I'd sent him all the information because he hadn't been in touch with me. Or he's actually got WhatsApp where the messages disappear. And I didn't realize mine would disappear as well. So that has disappeared. That's an interesting function, isn't it? When everybody's messages disappear. But yeah, well, in a nutshell, all I said was I'd sent him the information. He didn't even have the decency to get back to us. So for that reason and that reason alone, I was pulling away. And the fact that Paddy was going on to his videos saying that I was, you know, he was going to get KRN to quiz me and do this and do that. Wasn't about that. KRM was going to let me have my side of the story. He was going to do a podcast with me and I would have my side of the story because that's the way it works. So, you know, Paddy wants to go on the James English show. He wants to go on the Sean Atwood show. Go and do it. You know, go and do it. Get yourself on there and have your say. And then I will come back and have a reply, I'm sure. But just come on a live. Do a live. I'll come on your show. I can't emphasize it enough to the people watching today. 100%. I will go on his channel and answer any questions he wants us to ask. And it'll be me and him. Just keep it at me and him. Nobody else needs to be on there. We don't need anybody else on there. Him and I can go on and do the show together. Okay, anybody else got a question before I finish off? Well, Steve, being entertained as usual, I'm off to watch the Man United match. Good night, sir. Good night, political bias. Have a good evening and enjoy the game. Mindo says, why do they say everyone has a skeleton in the cupboard? Hold on, let's Google it. Why do people say skeleton in cupboard? Okay, here we go. Skeleton in the closet undoubtedly originated as an allusion to an apparently irreproachable person or family having a guilty secret waiting to be uncovered. The close at hand domestic imagery of a closet or cupboard gives a sense of the ever-present risk of discovery. There you go, Minto. There is your answer. Very interesting. Miloma says 3 points on Thursday. 100%. We will get 3 points on Thursday and condemn the Scouse Mackems to the relegation battle. Mrs. Ash will have anyone that hurts Mr. Ash, says Betty. I like it. Video Craig, big shout out to you, mate. Hope you are doing well. I don't know whether you're still in the chat. If you are, I'll tell you what I'll do. Let's make it a bit interesting there. See whether we'll get any feedback on this. I'm going to stick this in the chat. There you go. StreamYard links in this chat. Video Craig, if you want to pop on. You might have something to say. If you've gone, that's it. Tough. What's the release date of the Sears film? Budget needs to be obtained first, Craig. We only had the first meeting 3 weeks ago. And from my perspective, I would like to think that is going to be a meeting which brings back the budget. We should find out next week. If not, we need to find somebody else, and that's how it works. You really need to have a budget to make a film. We've got the distribution deal. That's the hard part. Now we need the money. Joe Mencho, if you put something sensible, I'll bring you on, but that's it. 100%. I don't mind taking any comments and questions. But from my perspective, that's the way it is. Is Conroy being portrayed in the Sears movie? Oof, now that would be telling. You got dragged back into it. No pun intended. I'm not sure whether that was to me. Jamie Summers talking about having a get together with Paddy Conroy and Bull in the ring. Me and Stephen tag team in the match. well, yeah. Look, I can never see that happening. I genuinely cannot see that happening. They always, they always seem to say they're going to do one thing and do another. I could never see that happening. Karma, it is the real karma. Missed the second appearance, but it was comedy gold. When Paddy said, "Does Horrible Pete have big glasses?" Comedy gold. Well, that was Sean Atwood, of course. My second appearance, I came on a bit like Harry Enfield, but yeah, it was funny, and a lot of people saying it was planned. It wasn't planned, Karma. It genuinely wasn't planned. And Sean, I didn't even know Sean had been on, because after I'd been on, I switched off, I left it at that, and I got a message off Sean saying, "I've just done the same as well." It's like some fast forwarding through. It wasn't difficult to find him, was it? Alan says, "Steve, love your NUFC matters stuff, your true crime stuff. But as for Atwood, Conroy, and Heggie, you're better than that. Kick them into touch and move on. Just my opinion." Alan, I appreciate your comments. If it was as easy as that with Conroy, then I would. But every now and then there's something said, well, you've got to respond. The Heggie thing's not my argument. It's not. And I put a statement out the other day to tell him to stop mentioning me, and I would stop mentioning him. Tonight's show wasn't about clickbait. It was about getting Dean on to talk about the show and ask him about the fight. Because obviously there's a lot of tit for tat going backwards and forwards. But we've lost reception. I've got to be honest, at the start of the call, before we came on air, I don't think Dean was too keen on talking about that particular fight he's got. We got enough said about 3D Fight Club, and I respect his decision. If that's the way he's going to go now and keeping off that subject, I think it's the right thing to do. I genuinely do. I've got no problem with that. And apologies anybody who maybe is tuned in to think, well, we're going to hear about this and that and the other. It's beyond my control. If he comes back on, I will ask him. But yeah, I get where you're coming from. Conroy thing will always be there until we get that get together, unless we get face to face on camera or we get on someone's podcast. It's got to be mutually right for everybody. And I think I wouldn't avoid KRN because I don't, think I'll get a fair hearing. I know my story stands up no matter who interviews us. But I do genuinely think that it should be on Paddy's channel. Get us on Paddy's channel. That's going into the lion's den, isn't it? That is the right way to do it. Richard, you should heavily disguise yourself, Steve, but look more normal than Atwood's attempt and try and get on his next live and try and see how long you can stay on before someone notices. I just think you'd be very careful in future how he lets on. But yeah, it was done for a laugh, and again, it went viral, and everyone, it did have a laugh. What is this? Why are all of Steve's videos such rubbish quality? Why would you constantly do videos with people with crap Wi-Fi? He's in a car, mate. He was in a car, and all of my videos aren't like that. Go through them. Using the man's face for clickbait. Hitman. He was going to come on and talk about that fight. Wasn't using it for clickbait. At the end of the day, you've seen what's happened. He's lost his internet connection. He might come back on. He might not come back on. If he does, fantastic. Lots of comments, which I'm not going to put on. I think John on the Fence is a great YouTuber waiting to happen. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. People still having a go at Video Craig. Just move on, man. Move on. Please move on from that. It's absolutely ridiculous. Political bias. Who is going to watch the match? Conroy is the author of his own misfortunes. It's sad, but true, I think. Hello, Steve. How's the movie getting on? The CS film, mate. The script's done. The distribution deal's done. But that's it. There's nothing else to really say. Newcastle are going to win on Thursday. What's your biggest achievement in your podcast interview career? Great question, Ash. To be honest, this year I've been delighted with the content I've managed to get. I really enjoyed doing Tom Stoltman, World's Strongest Man. I watched that like a lot of people probably do round about Christmas time. Thoroughly enjoyed interviewing him. I loved interviewing David Icke. Again, that was a big plus for me on the channel. And I guess from a controversial point of view, interviewing Stephen Yaxley has to be another one because, it caused a lot of controversy, caused me a hell of a lot of problems on the timeline, but it was an interview that I had to do. And I think when you watch the interview back, doing that interview was probably the most professional interview I've done. But I've done a lot of really good ones that I've enjoyed doing. But that was the most controversial. It got me a lot of negativity on my timeline. It cost us a couple of friendships, like social media friendships, not close friends. But yeah, I've got to say those three probably would be the ones that I would look at and say, those are the ones who were big. Are you going to turn up at Paddy's farm with that wood? No, I am not going to do anything like that. And I will be very, very surprised if Sean does that either. So the answer is no, no, and no. Are you planning on growing the beard back? If I've had to have a shave now because I've got a film coming up. I'm away filming for a week. I'm filming a new film called Requiem. I'm playing the villain in that. So hence the lack of facial hair again. But yeah, it all depends on parts. David Icke's a good man, says Dean. Top bloke. If you watch the interview, which is on the playlist, David Icke playlist, I interview him about football though, and it was just nice. And he came off at the end because we have a green room behind StreamYard, and you can have a chat. And he just said, I thoroughly enjoyed that, talking about going back in the past and talking about things I used to do. So that was good. Did you make the Purely Belter film? No, Eddie. Sadly not. I know people who were in it though, but sadly I didn't do that. Look, never say never. At this moment in time, I'm still having to recover from doing it the first time round. But never say never, mate. I'm not going to give an opinion on him, Peter, because he'll get the video struck. And that is just what he does. Anybody who says anything about him, the video gets taken down. It gets struck for privacy or whatever. So, if you're on my social media, feel free to drop us a message, and I will give you my honest opinion on that particular person. Do you think people will end up in prisons through these podcast wars, says Alan Paul Shaw? Yes, I do, Alan, 100%. What I've seen today on the man who causes the most controversy on YouTube, what I've seen today is taking it to a different level again. And I think it's only a matter of time before he pulls out his mobile phone and rings 999. And there is a whole host of evidence of malicious communications, bullying, call it what you will, on there. There's been some great stuff, and again, I'll mention Karma Corner. The stuff that guy's done, because he's savvy. He's streetwise, but he's also savvy. He's YouTube savvy, and streetwise. He's not going to drop anybody in it or drop himself in it. And that in itself, I think, is what other people should take. Other people should take a leaf out of his book. But do I think people are going to go to prison over this? 100%. I do. And that is why, although we at this channel didn't go into it, to the level that others did, we've just been, careful what was said. And the only reason that I mentioned him again was because he mentioned my name twice on 2 videos. And I will be maintaining the same decorum in that particular situation as I have for the last 3 months. Steve Bennett on the Yaxley interview. We know why I had to do the interview. Real friends stand by you. Thank you, Steve. Much appreciated, mate. Look, John, I can only speak as a fine mate, and the 2 lads have never said a wrong word to me, and they come highly recommended from John Owen. And I think when people have, I'm not involved in any walk of life other than a straight walk of life. I'm a podcaster. I'm a writer. I've got a publishing company. I've got a promotions company, and I'm an actor. So, I've got to be honest. The time that I met them at the funeral seemed like great guys. Had them on the channel a couple of times. Seemed like good guys. Whatever goes on in their personal life or what their business life doesn't really concern me at all, John. I was only too happy in the memory of John at Jab to get Dean back on and promote a successful show. What I hope is a successful show at the at that game. Couldn't be bothered to pull over to promote the event. He's mugged you off. Look, Hans, these things happen, mate. These things happen. I wouldn't say he's mugged us off at all. Martin says, how do you think a love with pop-up pirate will go? I think you mean alive. I think it'll be noisy, if you want my honest opinion. I think it'll be noisy. I think it'll be... I mean, from my perspective, I'll be calm and collected. I'll just present my case. I really don't know. It'll go one of two ways, won't it? It'll either be an absolute car crash and I'll end up getting... If it was on his channel, I'll get cut off. If it's on Atwood's channel, it'll be fair. It'll be fair. I think if Sean was sitting in the middle and he has me on one side and him on the other, and he's giving people a fair chance to speak, then that's it. I will give him a fair chance to speak on there. I won't put in. I will let him crack on. It needs to be done. It needs to be done for me. Yes, 100%. That's been hyped up as well, hasn't it? But that'll be good, David. I'm not usually a fan of these kind of fights, but yeah, I think it will be good. It's an 8 o'clock kickoff. Okay, good stuff. Decca or Dean, who's winning. I still think Dean will win if the fight went ahead. I think Dean will win. But I don't think the fight will go ahead. People will most certainly go to prison this year, 100%. It's mental what people put on YouTube, says Ashley. Yeah, I agree, mate. I agree. Alive, yeah, I thought it was alive, not a love. I'm thinking of loving with Paddy. Dear me, how? You mustn't have been watching the same videos as everybody else. Justice for my pal Hamster. Graham Lynch Ward. Oh, dear. I did see you keep posting that. I think it was last night. Peter. Yeah, I cannot, honestly, if I mention his name on here, the videos just get struck off. If you want to know who it is that he's, if you want to know what the guy's like, go to Conroy's channel and go to his community page, scroll down and see some of the stuff that Conroy's put up there about him. And that just sums him up. He has literally manipulated the whole situation and caused trouble amongst these people. And that's why this is ongoing now. That's why it's ongoing now. It's not me behind the smear campaign. That guy is behind the smear campaign, Peter. 100%. 100%. Angry Kid. Will you feel guilty if Decca commits Harry Carey with all this ridiculous hounding he's getting? Angry Kid, no, because I've got nothing to do with it. Rewind a few months when he interviewed Conroy on his channel, and that's where our meeting came, and that was my only beef with him, because he promised that he would then come to see me and Stephen and interview us and give us a fair platform to talk, give our side of the story. But what did he do? He completely turned away from it. He said we were liars. He did a live on his Facebook page and said we were liars and the paperwork wasn't genuine. Without even seeing the paperwork, he called it not genuine. I mean, he just went into that overdrive. So I wasn't happy with that. And, you live by the sword, you die by the sword. I was simply sticking up for myself, and yeah, it's the only problem I had with them. And then, obviously, when I got to see, and hear some of the stuff that was presented to me from certain parties, I made my decision to distance myself from him. And it's as simple as that. Is it true? I don't know. And I'm not bothered. And I'm leaving it at that. I've been on other people's podcasts where we've talked about it. I went on to Anne's last night. We had a chat, a couple of hours, talked about various things. But would I feel guilty? No, not in the slightest. I've done nothing wrong. But some people, they won't feel guilty. But as Ash said before, I think there'll be a few people going to prison over this, 100%. And watching his video today, the 1-minute video that he did about the things that have been hung up in his hometown, I don't think he's too far away from pressing those 999 buttons. I've got to be perfectly honest. Diane, it is all going to end in tears. Kyle, go to his page and just watch that 1-minute video, mate. You'll see for yourself. I'm not going to promote it on here. I'm now going to watch the West Brom against Fulham. Keep up the good work. Thumbs up. Cheers, Jimmy. Enjoy that. 15 points clear. I think they could go if Fulham win tonight. Will you and Atwood be able to pay the £500,000 that Paddy says you've got to pay? I think that's just bizarre as well. You know what I mean? There isn't going to be any money to pay. at all. And again, he's saying that I was waving a load of paperwork around on his show. Well, again, it wasn't on Atwood's show. You can watch both Atwood videos. Didn't have any paperwork on either of those Atwood videos that he claims it's on. But no, I won't have anything to play. Who do I think will win the Premier League? Liverpool, I think, this time round. I think Lux with Liverpool this time. I really do. I might be in his corner if the trainer can't get there. Oh, yeah, that's about the boxing at the weekend. Anything else? Let's see. Still, it's 250 of you watching now. So, think you're famous, you overgrown baby. Overgrown baby. I'm a 50-year-old, mate. And I don't think I'm famous. I don't think I am famous at all. Great crack, Steve. Off now. Chemo's got me knackered. Oh, sorry to hear that. I'll catch up later. Tune, enjoy Thursday's game. Thank you. Get well soon. My mum's going through the same, and I know how that gets to you. So, best of luck with that. And thank you for your support. And let's hope 3 points on Thursday to cheer you up. I hope Rapwood unblocks some of us so we can comment. Fiona, I hope you're well as well. I'm sure he doesn't read any of his comments. He's got that many subscribers. I'm sure he doesn't read any of them, or very few anyway. And I'm not even sure how you unblock people on here. I presume you must have to go into your settings. I've never even looked at it. Melvin, at least you're in the Masons. You should get a lighter sentence. It doesn't work like that with the Masons, but I'll not be going to prison for that because I've done absolutely nothing wrong. How are you doing, Lily? Toxicity. Paddy wants to go onto as many podcasts as possible to build his following, but after this is done, what's he going to talk about? Keep them watching. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I mean, look, I've got nothing against the guy doing that. Good luck to him. I just want this whole stupidity to end by having a chat online, and I think a lot of people would enjoy it. I think people would take days off work to watch us go hammer and tongs on a live. I think it would be good. Richard says, really hope that happens one day. You and Paddy on that would be great viewing figures, I bet. Yeah, it would be, mate, 100%. Pure Blood says, Atwood's channel's dead. James English's channel would be better for it. I've got no problem with going on James English's either. Yeah, I see he's got his Kinahan podcast's been paused, hasn't it, due to legal issues. I hope he gets that sorted. It's a 3-hour classic. I'm sure that'll be a great watch. Dean says, Paddy was a hard guy back in the day, but he's past it. I mean, he was great, fearsome reputation, no doubt about it. Big lump of a bloke. But yeah, look, everyone gets old, mate. And he is what he is. He's a funny bloke. I interviewed him, as I say, a few years ago, as everybody knows. And at least I've met him a couple of times, and we got on. There wasn't any issues. Obviously, things have changed a little bit. How long before the Mags win a trophy? Next year, mate. League Cup. That's my prediction. 90 seconds to kick off. Done nothing wrong. No, I've done nothing wrong on the whole Decca situation, mate. No, of course I haven't. I've given an opinion. Everybody can give an opinion, but I've certainly not prodded the hornet's nest. Steve, have Paddy a fight. Again, he won't even go online for a podcast, mate. He's not interested in fighting me. There's no doubt about that. He just wants to continue in the same vein and to build his channel up. And why wouldn't he? He's getting close to 10,000, isn't he? What would you have thought of Paul? What do you think Paul Massey would have thought of Paddy grassing the Sears to the police? He wouldn't have stood for it, mate. And that's not me having a go at Paddy. It's just the truth. He wouldn't have stood for it. He wouldn't have been impressed in the slightest. Let me know if you need extras for the film. Yeah, there'll be a casting call for that. The Sears have got a Facebook group. Get yourself on the Facebook group, and you'll be able to find one. Well, when we put the post out, it'll be on there, mate. So yeah, just keep an eye out for that. How long do you think it'll be before Newcastle United fight for the top 4? I think we'll be top 8 next year, mate. Top 4 will be a few more seasons, I think, for that though. Self-confessed Mason, ask yourself what your moral compass says. There's nothing wrong with being a Mason, mate. And it's a charitable organisation. It's it's not the Illuminati. And from my position, it's a charitable organisation, and I give lots of money to charity. It's as simple as that, via being involved in Freemasonry. Plus, I enjoy the ceremony, because it keeps me mind ticking over for learning lines as an actor. It's as simple as that. SWC, Steve, I know your content, even as a Mac, and keep up the good work. Thank you very much, mate. I actually shared a train down to London with a Sunderland fan and a Leeds fan the other day, and we had a great crack. So big shout out to Phil, the Sunderland fan in particular. Diane says Paddy's as nutty as a box of frogs. Yes. Watch James and Daniel. Yeah, that will be really good. It will be good, I'm sure. How can you fight through a screen? Says Neo the One. Yeah, exactly. There's too much of that going on. Love your gay crash on the man in the shed, says Grandpa Drifter. Yeah, it was funny, mate, and that was the intention, and everybody did enjoy it, I think. Rest in peace, Paul Massey, 100%. If you haven't had a chance to read the book by the family, it's on badboysbooks.net. Get yourself onto there, and it's called A Salford Heart. It's fantastic. Have you done any videos of your memorabilia collection, crime-related stuff, not sport? No, it's funny that, Kelsey, I've thought about getting a few people on to come on and talk about their memorabilia. It's definitely one in the back of my mind. So you've just put it to the front of my mind. Leave that to us. Diane says, just like the Lions or the Rotary Club. 100%, that's what it's like. It's a charitable organisation. What do you know about the Illuminati? Dean, very little. I would have to read up on it, mate. I've got to be honest. But the Illuminati seems to be something which people throw at me as well, as if it's some kind of sinister organisation. But that's what people say about Freemasonry, and it's not. You can go and Google Freemasonry. You can find out about the ceremonies. You can find out what it's all about. And that's it. Yeah, rest in peace, Paul Massey, says Neo the One. I knew Paul would have gone ballistic for sure. Look, Peter, I only met him the once in Tiger when he was there with Paddy Conroy and Bullock, and I didn't get a chance to know Paul. But when I helped write the book for the family, I felt like I got to know him really well through the family. And there are always two sides to people. He wasn't squeaky clean. We all know that. But he was a family man, and the photographs and the stuff that I've seen from Kelly and the family when we're putting that book together, I would like to have gotten to know him. I think he would have been a genuine guy. But, there's always two sides to the story. But if you want the real story, A Salford Heart, www.badboysbooks.net. Get it. Enjoy your lives with Anne. You seem like a fair person. Say thank you. Yeah, you know what? Anne's genuine. And that only came from me seeing a comment in a chat by her about me. And I just emailed her and said, that's not really what I'm all about, Anne. And we ended up really getting on. And yeah, I go on her show. She's coming on mine tomorrow night. We're doing News of the World show on a Wednesday where we talk about anything and everything. Tomorrow's a real cracker. So try and get yourself on if you can. But thanks for your support, CC. Buller Boy says, and eventually finished your book, Every Boy's Dream. Thoroughly enjoyed it, mate. Please leave a review on Amazon, Buller Boy, if you can. And I'm sure you now know at least that it wasn't an all-girls school and I'm not a drag queen. So that's good. The gift says, I'm off, Steve. Top bloke. Keep up the good work. See you Saturday. Cheers, mate. Neo the One, I've seen that message. I'm not putting it on the screen, but yeah, I will do. Even Lee, I'm literally going to go, Lee. I wasn't even supposed to be doing this. Dean's been on and gone, mate. He didn't have a great connection, and I genuinely don't think he wanted to take any questions on that potential fight, which may or may not happen. At the moment, it's on, but I still think there'll be a lot will happen between now and then. Mr. Sifter, any chance you could go live outside his door and literally put it on him, force him into talk, and no violence, just put question him face to face and see what he does? It's never going to happen, mate, because that's taking it to the next level and taking it to the extreme. And I know that's what Sean suggested he was going to do. I think that was just a bit of mischief. And I think that was, I think anybody who takes it to that level is asking for trouble. I really, really do. And, although it would be funny and I'm sure it would break YouTube and I think it would go through the roof. I've always said that I felt as if the constant barrage of abuse being thrown my way on YouTube by that particular person is just to get me to react. And it's as simple as that. And, I'm not going to react. I might do the odd video. I might come out and defend myself. I might say things. I might do this. I might do that. But when I do that, all I do is add to his subscribers because people go to his channel and they follow him and they want to hear what he's got to say. And it's entertainment. It is entertainment. It's an entertainment business. YouTube, you're here to put content out for people to watch and for people to enjoy. And yeah, as I've said, people do like to see, me, me react or me say something. And, I've not done it for 3 months. So suddenly, it's like the phoenix rising from the flames again, isn't it? People are going, oh yeah, it's happening again. And, people want to see it. And yeah, I mean, Stephen's not said a great deal. He's put videos out on this channel, but he's not said a great deal at all. I'm sure he will do again at some point. But he's his own boss. He does what he wants to do, same as me. Curtis Warren would make a great movie. Yeah, great book about Curtis Warren. There's a great book in that. Kenny Noy would as well, I'm sure. Hey, it's me from the lodge. Hello. Fair play. You've got more patience than I have, Steve. Yeah, no, you've got to, mate. You've got to. PC plod, like, I don't know who you mean. I wouldn't bother, pal. Yeah, I'm not going to do that, mate. No. Yeah. Joseph, I'm not sure what you mean about that one, but I'm not going to put that up either. Do you think Decca is going to break Dean up? No, I don't. I just don't think the fight will happen, mate. I genuinely do not think that will happen. Yes, Neo the one. He's not happy about that, and neither would I be. It's good entertainment, says Clayton, for sure, but all good. Yeah, Clayton, look, me and you've had a bit of banter on the chat as well, and I don't block people unless they're really awful, unless people are saying things which are like, defamation or this or that or the other. So, from my perspective, mate, good on you, Clayton. You can only go off what you see on screen, and, I understand why people are like that, Good evening, Steve. Hope you're well. Great show as per usual. You are your own man. Remember, don't swim motions for people who won't step over puddles for you. Do the right thing. Thank you very much. That is a great way of saying it. 3 days for the show, yeah. Decca's live now. Okay, well, I'll pop over to that. The Conroy video was absolutely coming to gold. It was, yeah. I've had a few gifts as well from people of that. Okay, Dean, yeah, I've got you, mate. Kelsey, we'll finish up with you because I'm going to go if Decca's gone live. I want to watch that. To be fair, Paddy's acting like a man who genuinely feels like he's been falsely accused of bad things. He's like a dog with a bone. He won't let it go, even though he's got it wrong, unlike some. Okay. Take care, Clayton, and you, Kelsey. Everybody, thanks for joining us. Denise, I'll put that up. Keep rising above us, Steve. You're better than that, and one of the few sensible ones out there. Thank you. Why do I think it won't happen? Because I think somebody will be arrested before then. That is my thing. Right, okay, I'm going to Decca Heggie. Thank you for joining in. I hope everybody enjoyed it. I do like to come on and do those every now and then. Take care. God bless. See you soon. Bye.